Welcome to round 3 of the City of College Park's budget hearings. Tonight, we're going to be talking all things public works and engineering. And we have all 4 council members present at this time. I'm calling the meeting to order at 6:32 p.m. And we'll get started. Ms. Miller, do you want to kick things off, or shall I?
Nope, I'd like to thank you all again for the opportunity to host this budget meeting. And we're going to begin with our department head, Mike Mason.
All right. Good evening, Mr. Mason. How are you?
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
All right. So the first section of your department is Public Works Administration, which is pretty straightforward. So the starts for us on digital page 3. And thank you very much, Ms. Floyd Bradley, for allowing our viewers to look along with what we are looking at. Does anyone have any questions in Public Works Administration?
Just have one. If that is the director and administrative assistant, it says 2, and the salary amount seems low for those 2, or does the director appear in another area?
It
Yes,
does.
sir.
Okay.
I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead,
go
Mike.
ahead.
No, you go ahead. You got it.
No, I was just going to say that represents 25% of the overall budget for Public Works admin. The other funds are spread between water, sewer, and sanitation.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Sense. I had a question on line 52, 57, 30. That is on digital page 5. It's depreciation of equipment for 6525.
What page is that you say, Mayor? What page is that?
Well, we could look at it on one of 2 pages. I'm looking at it on page 5 of 192, but on the screen is page 7, where it's gone into greater detail in terms, because is this listed as depreciation?
No.
I'm sorry.
No, it's the that's basically allocation throughout all the departments as far as what IT allocates to each department.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And it looked like the bulk of computer hardware, which is line 53, 7121, need a new computer in the admin area?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do we have a computer? I know that there were some discussions about making sure that we had access for our frontline employees in the department to access information through e-suites and such. Is there a computer available for them to do that?
Yes, it is. I've been working with Mike Hicks, and my understanding with him that there will be one available when we do set up that area. And that's something that we're looking at doing real soon.
All right. ETA on that?
Probably sometime next month. I know Mike and his crew came out and looked to see how they can run the wiring and everything. So I anticipate next month, really.
Okay.
That's a great idea.
Any other questions in Public Works Administration?
No, I'm good with Public Works Administration.
All right, hearing none, we will continue to move forward to highways and streets. I think we had a discussion about this last week. It is line 51, 50, 40, the 4th line. And that's actually utility credits for employees, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I've got a question about streets, 57 to 51. Is that some of the ones that we put off from last year, or, that's a large number, 251. I know you got Hospitality Way but streets resurfacing citywide is 150,000. Is that because we didn't do as many last year, or why is that?
Yeah, that's because we're trying to get more done. Absolutely correct, Councilman. Trying to get more areas resurfaced. So we asked for additional funding.
This is even, I mean, in the 2020 fiscal year, about $40,000 spent on streets, and I know we need it.
Absolutely.
Is there something in between like 50,000 and 250,000?
Between last year, yeah, I know the count. Typically every year we had budgeted $150,000 for in addition to the funding that we got from LMIG, GDOT, Georgia Department of Transportation, that we combine city funds with those funds so we can get multiple projects done. Last year, that line item was zeroed out.
Okay.
So that's the difference.
I have a question on 52, 57, 60. Mike, how much does it, on the same page, well, on digital page 24?
Oh, 24, all right.
How much does it cost you to do a typical sidewalk for a block? Just on one side of the street?
Yeah, probably anywhere from, 5,000, I would say at a minimum. $5,000.
So
How long are
we've
we
got
talking here? I mean,
we have 10,000 in there.
Yes, sir.
And I know we've had a lot of people asking about sidewalks, and I know we don't have a lot of money.
No.
But we're not going to get, for anyone listening in, if that's all we have in the budget, we aren't going to get many additional sidewalks done this year.
well, that's just for repair and maintenance, is it not?
Yeah.
I think
That's repair and
exactly what it
maintenance of
is.
existing sidewalks.
where is the line item then for new sidewalks?
There isn't. We
Now,
don't have
that's my
any funding for any new sidewalks. Yes, sir.
That's my point, Mayor.
I understand. I think can we not use T-Splosh money for sidewalks?
I believe so. If it's not on the list, if there's
Right.
funding available to a quick response, I just have to find out if there's funds available.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I've got one on the next page, which is digital 25,
Okay.
line 547640. So we are getting a new utility trailer finally?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I've
We
also
use
got
it-
a question about that. Can we use the old one? I know it's in bad shape, but is there a way we could use it as a backup or?
It's what, about 18 years old or something, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, the one we have. So we
Yeah.
wanted to.
There was a second issue with it, I think, that it was what you want to replace it with is a low boy so that you can more easily load things in there without people having to lift as much.
Yeah. Yes, sir. And that's the equipment we were looking for.
Right.
Rather than sell it, is there a way that we could keep that one in case we needed it in emergencies for some other? I mean, that's just a.
Yeah,
thought.
we can look at it. I'll get with Raymond on that and see if we could use it in other
I
areas.
mean, I would hate to put any more money in it, but if it could be used as a backup in case, last resort.
Yes, sir.
Ken, I was wrong. That vehicle is 38 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, but if it's probably not worth anything for scrap, so if we can keep it as an emergency, it'd be useful to have.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
don't expect a whole lot of reliability out of it I would think if it's 38 years old.
No, but I mean, in case of emergency, it might come in handy.
Mhm.
This was a question I had across the board. It seemed like auto insurance went up pretty dramatically.
Yeah, so did liability insurance. I had that on I've gotten through all but next Thursdays, and that's true on all of them, Mayor. I'm
What? Any idea? Can anybody explain what's going on with that?
I think this is using our current rates, and I think that for the auto, we've had several accidents, and I think it took our rates up. But I would get
Yeah.
clarification on that from Dr. Baker.
yeah, but it's across the board.
Right, right.
Everybody is up,
Mhm.
and it's up significantly.
Yes, it is significant.
Both on auto and liability.
Mhm. Just wondering.
Dr. Baker and I were looking at doing some defensive driving classes for all staff to have to drive city vehicles, and that would take our rates down some. But we have
Well,
had quite a few accidents.
You said driver training.
Defensive driver training.
driving. Mhm.
So I was going to ask a question about that when we got to police, but do we know whether the driver training that police has been doing has paid off? Because I still see a number of accidents coming out of police.
I have to confirm, but I don't think since COVID they've been doing defensive driving classes when they have an accident, and that needs to be the standard.
We've
right.
got to do something.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, maybe is there an opportunity for us to shop around a little bit to see if we can get better rates?
We can look into that.
Problem
And-
is, Mayor, we don't have a very good track record.
Yeah, but we bring a lot of business. So
And just an FYI, it also includes a 5% increase that we're projecting. So that's what the rate also includes, other than what we normally pay for our premium cost, but it has gone up.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions on highways and streets?
Now, I just noticed that road signs are going up a little bit. Are we
Mhm.
replacing more of them? I see them leaning from time to time, and I'm sure they're going out and replacing those or straightening them up. Is that a pretty good number there at 20,000? Are we replacing a lot of them or?
Yes, we are. That's in addition to the special requests that we get throughout the year, and they continue to upgrade the old outdated street signs. So we're still moving forward with that.
Any other questions for highways and streets?
I'm good.
All right. Hearing none, we will move forward into buildings and grounds. Oh, there went auto insurance again. Yep, I had that noted there. Any questions in buildings and grounds?
We don't expect any workman's comp claims at all? That's kind of a zero.
Yeah, I saw that as well. And
I mean,
had a little question about it.
it's not a big,
Not that I'm aware of.
okay.
That would probably be, a number. Get with the interim city manager and HR in regard to see if we need to do some funding there.
All right. Any other questions?
Yeah, Mike, with the art chart, how many actual workers do we have in building the ground right now?
How many extra workers? I'm sorry.
Actual, I believe.
How many
Actual workers.
Yes, sir.
Right now we're at right now we're at 13. And we're looking to move forward with filling at least 3 right now. Get up to 16.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions for Mr. Mason and Buildings and Grounds?
I just one note that, you talk about replacing the Ford 150 truck,
Yes, sir.
and then on Exhibit G, you show that they show no funding for the trucks at all. They show that, I believe, in the next year. Is that correct?
Let me
It
see.
just shows NA for 2020, 21, 22. If you're going to replace it, you should get a number in there.
Yes, sir.
Not just a kind of a.
Yes, sir. Yeah, exactly.
Well, Mike, did you pull that back from 2022, 2023? Or did you?
No, it did get pulled back as part of one of the, some of the cuts, vehicle replacement. So,
What I'm trying to figure out is, do we need to add another F-150 to that chart? Or can you just effectively, to do what Councilman Allen said, bring it over from 2022 to 2023? In other words, how many trucks are we getting in the next 2 years?
yeah, we can, that was our plan, is to bring it over. And I believe what you see in 2022, 23 is that vehicle that for 31,000 that
Yeah.
we're looking at. I think we did,
Right. So
more likely did bring it over. Yes, sir.
Okay.
So the only thing you'll have then in 2022, 2023 will be the tractor and the
The crew cab.
passenger van.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Any other questions in Buildings and Grounds?
Nope.
Nope. I'm good.
All right, we'll move on to Parks.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, I had one question on the table of organization. I can't believe that we're able to do everything we are doing with parks with 2 people.
No, but those 2 positions, no, not everything that we need to do. So we are pulling other staff that's being paid out of Buildings and Grounds to assist with work that's being done in the parks.
So these 2 are totally dedicated to parks?
No, actually, one is dealing with community service, and the other one is dealing with maintenance of vehicles, and I mean, not vehicles, but equipment, the mowing equipment, and any type of small attachment maintenance that needs to be done. But bulk of the park work is out of the employees in Buildings and Grounds.
Okay, so these people are servicing equipment, you're saying?
One of them is, yes,
One
sir.
of them is.
Yes, sir. One position is.
For everything or just for parks?
No, for everything, entire division.
Okay, I
Push
guess I'm a little
mowers.
confused.
I'm confused too.
Yeah, yeah. That's typically historically is what we use those 2 positions as being paid out of parks for community service, litter pickup, transportation pickup, and like I mentioned a moment ago, the other person is being used for equipment maintenance. And that's historically what those 2 positions have been used for.
So they're not really being used for parks, is what it boils down to.
Yes, sir. That's what it boils down to.
Why do we have the department then? I mean, like, what's the point?
Yeah, one of the things that in years past we talked about possibly combining, just making, instead of separate budget, be one budget with Buildings and Grounds.
I'm not sure why we wouldn't. Am I missing something?
Well, there's
No.
some part-time people there. Are the part-time people that you got 24,000 for part-time? Are they dedicated to the parks? Are those the rangers or?
Yeah, those are the funded for the park rangers. Yes, that 24,000. Yes.
But we could put them in buildings and grounds as well, I would think.
Yeah, we could. Absolutely.
Ms. Floyd Bradley?
Oh, I got a question.
Go ahead,
Yes, sir.
Councilman Taylor.
The park rangers always with building the grounds, but they've been with the recreation for about 4 or 5 years, and building the ground still pay them. That doesn't make sense. It should have been in the recreation budget years ago. I think it was in recreation budget last year or something. I'm not sure, but I think
Go ahead.
it was in their budget last year.
Well, I think they're
think-
split,
No,
depending.
I think I came in at the end. Are you referring to the park rangers?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
They should all, right now I have them all budgeted under recreation administration. There's 6. So that $24,000 will go away because all 6 are budgeted under park administration. Correct, Michelle? Because Michelle's on the line.
That is correct. It was in
Okay.
Parks and Grounds a couple of years prior. And then it got moved back over to us. So 6 park rangers are in my admin budget.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, the $24,000 will go away.
Ms. Floyd Bradley?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, is there a reason that we need the parks portion of this, or can it just be combined with buildings and grounds?
It can be combined.
Yeah.
I just want to make
It's
sure I
not
wasn't missing
doing
anything.
anything for parks.
Yeah, it can be
Yeah.
combined.
Just seems like it'd be simpler.
We can do that.
All right. Any other questions in parks?
No.
Mike, I have one more question. The 2 positions that's in parks, right? Those are still 2 vacant positions right now, right?
That is correct. And right now we're in pending or moving forward with trying to fill those 2 positions. Yes.
So who is repairing, Mike, all your small pieces of equipment then?
Well, some of the guys, along with Chris, the supervisor, he used to, when he came to College Park and was promoted at one time to be that maintenance personnel. So he's filling in right now until we find a replacement.
Okay.
Any other questions in parks? Hearing none, we'll move forward to sanitation. Any questions in sanitation?
I've got a question on, when you're talking about revenue, we had a miscellaneous income of 507,000. We're not having any this year. Is that money that we have gotten from CARES, or where did that money?
That's, I'm sorry. That is money from the debt service, the purchase leasing that we're doing for the 2 trucks. Yes, that's from the loan proceeds. For the 2 trucks we're purchasing in 2021. So we received the funds from the bank and we purchased the vehicles.
Okay, so you expect it to be 0 next year. Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay.
I have a question on recycled material, which is the next one down, 4130, 344130. We're actually anticipating to get $4,000 for recycling this year. Is that really true?
Yes, sir.
What is it that they're buying mostly, Mike? Do you know?
Yeah. Glass and steel.
Glass and steel.
Yeah. We used to get paid for cardboard and paper items, but the market just had tanked.
So
that was
we
negative revenue.
we still recycle it. Do we have to pay to recycle the paper and cardboard?
No,
But we don't get anything
We don't
for it.
get paid for it.
no, we don't get paid for it. That's correct. Yes, sir.
The sales to both residential and commercial customers are fairly bullish. I know that we had an increase to the rates, but the rate increase wasn't. I'm just wondering what's going into the projected sales on both of those. Is it simply the rate increase, or are we expecting a good bump in consumption as well?
Combination of both, Mayor. Not only the rate, but yeah, consumption as well. Especially with the housing market that's the housing that's being built in College Park. You got additional homes in Princeton Village that we anticipated, and and a couple other areas in the city that's really been built up. So got anticipation there.
All right.
I've got a question on vehicle replacements. That's 547590. You requested 460 and it got cut to 0. Was that because of the lease, or why is that now 0?
Or what vehicle was it? That was my
Yeah.
question.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What line are we on?
We're on digital page 81, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. And it is
547590.
7590. Okay, I see it now. All right, thank you.
Those were initially lease purchases, so we moved them under capital lease principle because he wanted to lease the vehicles versus buying them outright. Correct, Mike?
That is correct.
That's 130,000 that you're moving it to. So I guess you figured the number was not going to be as much as you expected, or?
If you look under if you look on the screen, if you can see what I have up, we have the capital lease purchase. There's existing the grappler truck that we just we're purchasing this year.
Mhm.
Then the mini rear loader, that's the new one, and the vehicle replacement of the container handle, that's 108,000. That's new. So we break it down basically what we what the year annual cost would be for the lease purchase.
So that's 130,000, and initially it looked like it was going to be 460,000.
I assume that's because you broke it up on a yearly basis. Is that correct?
There you go.
Is it it's because we're leasing it as opposed to an outright purchase?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
All right. Any other questions?
Landfill charges on that same page, 526120. Why so much increase?
Due to the increase in the volume that we've been picking up material, that has really picked up here late. So we're kind of anticipating that.
Well, there are a lot of people ordering things from Amazon. So I suppose that will, although hopefully you recycle that, but a lot of people don't recycle. They just dump it in the garbage.
And they don't break down the boxes. I've noticed that. They just, of course, our equipment does that. But
right.
But we're at 56% of the costs for this year. Do we anticipate that? I mean, like, have we seen a trend in the last 3 months or so that things are increasing exponentially, or?
We have seen an increase in tonnage that we've been picking up. Yes, ma'am.
You would expect, Mayor, if you linearize it, and I would expect you would linearize this more than most things, that you'd be up to around at most 500,000 instead of 729.
Oh, well, Well, I'm saying we're at 344 for the year. as
Right.
of
And if you
March
add a
19th.
third onto that,
Right. Okay. I'm with
roughly,
you. Mhm.
and allow a little tolerance, 500 versus 729.
Right.
So that's almost 50% more than what you would expect.
And at the time this report, we ran the report, the bills, I believe there's 2 months. I can't think it was through January, December or January. So it doesn't take into account February or March.
Do we have a sense of what's been happening in February and March in terms of the tonnage and in terms of those bills?
I
Yeah,
can look. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I know in some of the tonnage reports that we've seen from the tickets that guys been bringing back, kind of reflect that as well.
Can you give us an idea?
Top of my head, I think typically we'd be right around, yeah, close to what, 1,400 tons? Yeah, roughly about 1,400 tons extra that we picked up last month.
So an increase of 1,400 tons
Mhm.
in the month.
Yes.
What is typical in a month?
Yeah, right. Yeah, roughly about 12 to 13.
So 12 to 1,300 tons is typical. And so we're looking at 26 to 2,700.
26, 20, yeah.
Okay. And that has gone, and how long has that trend been going on? That's more than double.
Right.
So
Right.
how long has that been going on?
It's been fluctuating, hasn't it? Yeah. Yeah. I think we're looking at just February and March, what we're looking at so far this year.
So what was the tonnage in February?
I would have to go look that up, Mayor. I don't have that particular number in front of me.
Okay.
Somebody has a radio or TV on. Does anybody else hear that, or is it?
Oh yes,
Yeah,
I hear
I
it.
hear that.
I hear it. Ms. Fleur Bradley, were you about to say something?
Oh, yes. It seems as if we're billed every 15 days.
Okay.
Mike, is that accurate? I'm looking at.
Yeah.
So it's about, I would say around 30 to 35,000 every well, it's about 70,000 for the month. So.
But Mayor, I might have misunderstood your question. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to hear that it didn't double. That's not what we're talking about. That number doubling, just added additional 1,400 tons to what we typically been picking up.
Now I'm confused.
Okay.
Are you saying that you typically pick up 12 to 1,300 tons and now you're at 1,400 tons?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
That still would not accommodate for an increase of, am I?
Yeah,
that still seems high.
It adds a 12, right? Which is about 8%.
But the bills can vary between $60,000 to $70,000 a month. So if I take that if I take the full 70, it's about $840,000 a month.
Okay.
Excuse me, $840,000 for the year. If I go on the lower end, that's about 720,000. Because I believe he had it lower, and I basically went back to the detail and increased this based on the usage I was seeing.
Okay.
So that's why he's at that. The 714 is what I'm projecting. However, that 729,000 does include 15,000 for household hazardous waste events that he budgeted separately. But I put the 714 because that's what I was projecting based on the usage that I saw at the time.
Now,
Okay.
714, yeah, okay, that makes sense. And it's also,
$15,000 for household hazardous waste event.
right.
Mhm.
So that brings us to 729.
Yes, ma'am.
And that is now for the 2020 actual amount, did that include the hazardous waste as well?
Yes.
Okay. Not that far off then.
No,
All right.
and a lot more people are at home.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Bet.
All right. Well, I thank you for the information. I appreciate it and
You're
helping
welcome.
me get a little bit of clarity on that line item. Any other questions in sanitation?
Not for me.
Yeah, I got a question. Back to the art chart. It say 29 employees. How many of those employees we have right now?
Out of the 29,
Yes,
we
sir.
have a total of, give me 1 second, Councilman. And we have total. We have a total of currently 22.
Okay,
Right
and with the 29, that include any new employees, or that's just the rough number that we should be?
It includes one additional position.
That makes sense. Okay.
Any
So
other
you're
questions
down-
for sanitation? I'm
You're
sorry. go ahead.
down 6 from what you used to be.
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions in sanitation?
When
Hearing
you
none,
said
we'll
you have
move.
those people sent, so you said some of them are seasonal. Is that for the fall or is that for the summer or what is?
Yeah, we have, I think a few years ago, council approved 4 new positions, which was spend during leaf season, working sanitation, and during the summer months work with buildings and grounds.
Okay,
That was because every time we'd go into a new season, we'd let go a bunch of temporary workers and we'd be scrambling to hire another group of temporary workers. And it just didn't make any sense. It was good for the employees and it was good for us.
I agree. Okay.
All right. Any other questions in sanitation? Hearing none, we'll move forward to stormwater.
Yeah, I've got a question on digital page 105.
I've got
Up
one
near
on
the top.
104. Can I ask on 104 first?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, line 51, 50, 10. The operating salaries, are we lifting a frozen position or what's going on there? It's a 33% increase.
Yes,
On
that's
that.
correct.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Sorry, Councilman Clay, go right ahead.
Okay, on the next page then, up near the top, R&M of storm sewers,
Mm-hmm.
we're going from 5,500 actual spent this year to 196,000 in the new budget. 883%, but forget the percentage. How do we do that?
Well,
How can we spend that much?
we were looking at several projects in next year's budget, Councilman Clay. One of which installing storm drainage along Hospitality Way prior to a paving project that we got lined up for next year. So that increased the budget.
It looks like the bulk of it's from the Virginia Avenue Hemp Hill.
Yes, that
Yeah,
as well.
I beg your pardon. I should have checked that in the detail in the back. I remember checking it now and didn't mark it. Yeah, Hospital Way and Virginia. And so unforeseen repairs is only 10,000. And maintenance and
Probably be more.
repairs is only 10,000. So those two projects in themselves are 176,000 roughly.
Mhm.
Yep.
That's all I had on that page.
All right. Any other questions in stormwater?
Good.
Councilman Allen, did you say you were good?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions from anyone on stormwater? All right. Hearing none, we'll move to water and sewer.
You got under 61,1100 operations transfer out of general funds, and you transferred out 122,000. You don't expect to transfer any out at all this year?
No, in fact, that 122,000 will be reversed for 2021.
Okay.
The water fund won't be able to afford the transfer out to the general fund.
When you say it'll be reversed, it'll be coming in?
Basically, we will eliminate that transfer to the general fund.
Okay,
So there will be zero transfer in 2021.
okay.
Questions? Go right ahead.
I just look at the water and sewer department, and it's 537110. You know, safety supplies, hats, goggles, and so forth, and you got $1,500. That just, to me, for some reason, it seems low. I would think that you would need more safety supplies for the people.
I would concur, Councilman Allen. It looks like, I mean, we spent 4,600 in 2020. We're at 92% of the allocated amount this year. That just doesn't look. That doesn't ring.
Well, if you added on 400,000, 400, not 1,000, 400 to that.
What?
You wouldn't be anywhere.
I mean, you're talking about 18 people in there, and you're talking about safety supplies. I'm not sure how many of the workers get the safety supplies, but that just seems like an awful low number to me. It just my personal opinion, looking at the 1,500.
Especially considering what our water and sewer workers do.
Yes,
They've got to get in there and deal with everything that we don't want to deal with when we flush. And so it is paramount that they get the safety supplies that they need, period. We got to find a way, whatever they need, we got to get it for them.
The gloves, you know.
Absolutely.
I mean, I can see climbing down that hole with boots that, you know, they need to have the waders. I don't know what all they need, but we need to make sure that 1,500 just seems like a very, very low number to me. And that's just my own personal opinion, but.
It is mine as well, sir.
What would that number be? Because I definitely agree.
I'm sorry, Councilman, you break it up.
He said, what would that number be? Because he
No,
agreed. Is that right?
Yes.
Question, Mike, can we take your contractual services down by about $5,000 and move that into the safety supplies?
No, because contractual services deal with the wells right now, and that's for the chemicals and everything. But I can, we can definitely possibly move some numbers around to increase that line item to $5,000.
The
can
contractual
definitely do that.
services, though, you've only used half of the money.
Right.
Is it relatively linear spending throughout the year, or are you expecting something significant?
No, I'm not expecting anything significant, no ma'am. So it's linear.
So if we play that out, I'm not the math person here, but that's going to come in under budget fairly significantly.
I also have a contingency built in, about 84,000. It can be moved.
Yeah, I saw that on contingencies.
Mhm.
Yeah, 84,109. You could take some of that money.
Yeah, and I overestimated expenses, so this can definitely be adjusted as far as the purchasing expense.
And it might even be more than 5,000. I don't know, but we just need to make sure that they have what they need. So
Absolutely.
Yes.
To me, 5,000 would be the where we would start with it. I mean, and if there's, I mean, based upon what happened in the 2020 fiscal year, but
we need to give them what they need.
absolutely. Any other questions on water and sewer?
Okay.
I got the same sort of question. We have 18 employees on the org chart. How many do we actually have in that department?
Currently, right now, Councilman, we have 14 currently. And we were able to do a promotion, and we have that position as well. Actually, all our vacancies should be out on the street right now to fill that position where we just did a promotion.
Okay.
When you say all of your vacancies should be out on the street.
I mean, advertise.
Oh,
in the
okay.
process of
All
being
right.
advertised. I'm sorry.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions on water and sewer? Going once? Going twice? All right. We will move forward to engineering. Mr. Mason, you get a breather.
Thank you.
Thank
Mayor.
you.
Thank you.
Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mason.
Thank you.
Is Mr. Myers or Mr. Kendrick? Who's going to be handling this one? Don't all jump at it.
And now Mr. Kendricks is here. Jackson Myers, are you here?
I just saw, yep, there he is.
Okay.
I was in the back.
Good evening, Mr. Myers. How are you?
Just marvelous.
Great. Great. All right. So questions for Mr. Myers on engineering.
First question I have is, engineering services and contractual services are going up. We spent $8,000 actually last year, and it's going to go up to $30,000 this year with 15,000 contractual services.
Yeah, yes, that's because of trying to get the I'm trying to get these SPOS money out, and we need some contractual services in order to spend the SPOS money.
And engineering services as well, going up to 30,000. Is that part of that as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Jackson, I have a question on digital 154, line 515210, which is a new personnel cost for an inspector. Inspector for what?
We need it. Well, in the past, we've needed it. We're lacking an inspector to go out there and we're missing erosion and settlement. We're missing money every year on detention ponds inspections. Every year we need to get funding for those. just hadn't had anybody go out there to do the inspections. We also need to make sure that these new businesses or new commercial businesses are paying their fair share. We need to do some inventory on it. Since February 1st, we've checked back with customers, and we just need somebody on it all the time. We've back billed $62,200 since February 1st. We've got 11,000 that was not collected by stormwater fees. We got some engineering fees for plats and stuff. We went ahead and billed 9,250. So we just needed somebody to work on it. I've been working with the city manager also. We were talking about tree ordinances. The company down there on Roosevelt Highway owes us $160,000. So it comes up to $242,450 so far, at least in 60 days.
So this is money we have not collected because we don't have this inspector.
It sure helped. We didn't have anybody, and I just jumped in there and thank goodness started working on this. So that's what we collected in a short amount of time.
Wow. So this is, where's the boundary? Where's the boundary between what Oscar does and what this inspector does?
This guy's either a male or female, or no gender intended, is supposed to be able to go out there and making sure that our stormwater is being. Oscar doesn't do that. He's 5 foot inside the building. We're the whole city. We're worried about community rating systems. We're worried about FEMA. We're worried about flood.
Okay, so your infrastructure, is that a good way to say it? Your infrastructure, and he's buildings.
Yes, he's buildings. That's correct.
Okay. And so far so who had been doing this a year ago? Who did this?
Doesn't sound like anybody.
Doesn't sound like anybody. Yeah.
Well, how did we even get the money at all? Why did anybody pay us?
Well, that's a excellent question. It's just that I kept going back to I kept asking them to make sure our billing was right. I kept trying to get them to run a report, and I had these things in the hopper, and I kept saying that they need to bill them, but I didn't realize that the people that in the past in the customer service never called us. So we've got a new person down there, Lisa, and now those people out there are calling us back and checking when we're given our ordinance, our city ordinance, and the city ordinance says we can charge them 12 months back. So by golly, we're charging them 12 months back, and they're paying it.
Excellent.
It sounds like this person's collecting more money, a lot more money than we're going to pay them.
Right. I was going to say the positions will pay for itself.
Yes.
Sounds like
a no-brainer.
Especially with new residential coming on board, on any kind of industrial that we're getting a new warehouse that's down there on Natural Fresh. We need to make sure that they pay our fair share of the impervious surface. And Bernard's helped us out a lot.
Thank you very much for finding all of this.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You're quite welcome. I go out. Everybody knows I go out and try to find money.
I think you are embodying our core value of innovation. Your innovation in action, Mr. Myers. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
So would that be a third person? You just have you and another guy right now, right?
Yes, there'll be a third person that'll be out in the bushes, so to speak. Going to the airport and making sure that we went by today, the airport hasn't even done their detention pond, that's an EPD report. We're in FEMA. We want to make sure the airport's in compliance. And I talked to Gary Young about it today. We're going to run back out there tomorrow morning. I didn't have time today. I was trying to get prepared for this, but we're going to take pictures and make sure the airport gets in compliance because they haven't done anything. A few years ago, Bernard and I, we found Delta. Delta was dropping all their diesel fuel into the pond. We made them skim the pond out, and out there at the Delta parking lots.
Huh.
There's a lot of things out there that we could we need to make them in compliance and fine them when we have to.
I would think that environmental protection would be leaning over our shoulder and finding them as well.
They would if somebody had said something.
If they knew about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions in engineering?
No, I'm good.
Does this mean we're done?
Well, I'm just looking at this here. You said an exhibit D, you're talking about stormwater erosion control technician. The compensation is 16, 18. Is that per hour? Or is that?
Oh.
I think it would be a lot more than that.
Can you get me to the digital page on that?
Exhibit D.
What's the digital page though?
He's
There are
looking
a
at
lot of
paper.
pages.
Yeah, exhibit G1 goes on for a while. I'll find it. 161. So $16 to $18 an hour. Was that what you
Yeah,
were
that's what I'm looking
projecting?
at. That seems like, I don't know if that's per hour. It seems like it ought to be a lot more than that, but you know, it's not on the numbers, but it just.
Does that come out to that 42 or 40, 45? That's that's short of that.
Definitely short of that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But on the 45, if you look at the worksheet, it has their fringe benefits, their training,
Mm-hmm.
office material, and that should come up
To the 45 number. Okay.
Mhm.
It just seemed like an awful small number.
Are we going to get somebody
Yeah.
at $16 to $18 an hour for that job?
Yeah.
We
I
want
had to
3 years of
update that.
experience.
That cost is actually going to be about 52,000 for the position. There was about $6,000 that wasn't added, but it is reflected in the budget because we didn't get a chance to update the this
Yes.
spreadsheet here. And I think what is missing is the $7,800 didn't get calculated into the total, but it is reflected in my overall budget. So I'm sorry, trying to.
So
Okay. No,
this
I just,
person,
The position alone is about $53,000 just to round it up.
okay.
but it's a part-time position.
No, it's a full-time position because they're getting benefits and
Right.
all.
Well, there's an X by part-time there. So that's why I was a little confused. With
No.
with the,
Mistake.
I'm
It's
sorry.
full-time.
Okay.
That was a mistake.
Okay. All right.
Whatever it is,
It's
they're
full-time.
going to make the money that we need to pay them.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
I'm clear now.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? Is everybody else clear with everything?
Yes.
Thank you,
Well,
Minister Meyer.
well, great, everybody. We've done it in an hour.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Jackson.
All right, take care, everybody.
Thank you. Meeting's adjourned. 7:30. Good night, everybody.
Night.
Thank you all very
Good
much.
night.
Good night. Hmm. Hmm.